that a minute. Okay. Hi everybody. It's been a really long time since I put up a video and I'm sorry. I have absolutely no excuse. But I had a little bit of time today between Anna's naps and I thought, okay, well she just turned 6 months. So this might be a good opportunity to do her 6-month update. I originally wanted to put up a kind of an update video every 3 months for her, but of course I'm not good at this, so she hasn't had an update I haven't put up an update for her since she was 1 month old. So I guess I have a little bit of catch up to do. But anyway, so she turned 6 months old at the end of last month. Say hi, Anna. Say hi to everybody. It's going to be her nap time in about 30 minutes, and she's slowly declines in the last 30 minutes before a nap, so we'll see how far I get. But anyway, so I thought I'd just tell you guys a little bit about kind of the last few months and kind of how things are going for her. And I guess the short answer to that is pretty good. She's such a fun baby. She's so easy, and you know, I tend to be anxious and stress out about nothing, but really she's just the best baby. I'm sure every mom says that about their child, but I feel so blessed to have her. So I guess we'll start with the fun stuff, huh? Eating. Well, as you know, Anna was, because we did start solids, but she was exclusively breastfed. She still doesn't get any formula, and still, like, almost all of her nutrition is still coming from my milk. But we decided to start her on solids around about 5 months. The first week she was 5 months old. And we decided to do that for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason being that she started doing something. She always kind of really intently watched me when I ate. She intently watched me pretty much whatever I did, so that's nothing new. She always grabbed whatever I had, so that was nothing new. So watching me while I ate and grabbing my food wasn't really enough for me to start her on solids. But a couple nights in a row, in addition to doing those two things, she started screaming and doing this with her mouth. And like giving me like super hungry eyes, like she looked so hungry. And I'd give her a toy and she'd just kind of toss it on the floor when she realized she couldn't eat it. And so I said to Erin, I said, okay, well, let's just see how she does. I had a box of organic brown rice cereal that I ordered. I had it already, so I thought, okay, we'll see what she does with cereal. I knew at only 4 months, she probably still had the reflex where her tongue was pushing things out. So I thought I'd see. We had a high chair. We'd had the high chair for about a month already, just for her to practice sitting in it and playing and sitting with us at meals and stuff. So I put her in her high chair, and she always sat up pretty well with the support of the high chair. She still can't sit up by herself, but she sits up with very little support. She holds her head up just fine. And so the first time we gave her rice cereal, she seemed to really like it. Like, it was just rice cereal. I didn't put anything else in it for that first feeding. And she was pushing the spoon out with her tongue at first, but about halfway through that first feeding, she figured out how to push the food back with her tongue. And she ate the whole bowl just wonderfully. And so I thought, oh, well, maybe she likes this. I started putting cinnamon in her cereal, and she liked that a lot more. But after about a week of just one tablespoon a day of rice cereal, it like really made her constipated. So I thought about just stopping altogether, and I thought, well, it's kind of good. I really wanted to maintain like mealtime habit. Now that I'd started, so I switched to baby oat cereal, like porridge, because I read that would help. And we put cinnamon in that and started putting fruit in that too, like pears, and that really helped with her constipation issues. And she loved it. She especially loves her porridge with bananas, but that's pretty constipating too, the bananas, so we don't do that very often. So we did that in the morning for breakfast, like after she'd nurse first thing in the morning from me, and then like a half an hour later, something like that, she'd get her solids, which it's not much of a meal. It's more for the experience, you know, at this point for like the first year. I think solids are more for experience and fun than nutrition, really. She's still drinking as much or more milk from me than as she did always. And then after a few weeks, we started giving her some pureed vegetables at dinner time too. Started with sweet potatoes, and she loved that. Sweet potatoes with cinnamon, actually. And then gave her some peas, and I gave her carrots once, and it gave her gas, so I'm not going to do that again. We haven't given her a whole lot of foods, but for a month, just for a month and a week now, she's had quite a few. She's had blueberries in her mesh feeder. Sometimes I give her raw food to just play with and look over. I gave her a stick of red pepper one day, and she sucked on it and made a big face. And, so it's kind of a fun experience. And so far, so good. No allergies and just some gas from the carrots and constipation from the rice cereals. But we stopped those things, so now she's doing fine. Still drinking a lot of milk, and she's growing. She's really growing. She's pretty average, I think, for 6 months. At her last appointment last week, she was 17 and a half pounds and 27 inches long. Yeah. Which is bigger than Taiwanese babies, but for a Western baby, she's right on track, I think. We're a little behind on her vaccinations because I was a little nervous about them. Doing some reading and kind of the natural kind of blogs and stuff tend to be anti-vaccination, and it scared me. But when I talked to Erin, we decided that really statistically, it is safer for her to be vaccinated against those diseases than potentially get the diseases. And really the adverse reaction stories are pretty low minority. Anything could happen to her. Of course, we're not going to know if she's allergic to anything in the vaccines until she encounters it anyway, but that could go for any food she eats, really, or anything she encounters. So, but so far, so good. So she had her 4-month vaccinations at 6 months. She's only 2 months behind, so it's not too bad. But all the immunizations she's had so far, she's reacted well. No adverse reactions at all, no fever, no extra sleepiness or fussiness or redness or anything. So I really hope that continues. She seems to be a very healthy little girl. She hasn't been sick yet, no sniffles or anything. Of course, we've been working hard to prevent the sniffles in our house. I'm really anxious about illness and kind of over-anxious. I admit I'm over-anxious. We obsessively wash, by we I mean I, obsessively wash hands, but Erin and I both have the habit of washing our hands the first thing when we get in the house, and we require people who hold her to wash their hands first, and, I don't want her to get sick, of course. So anyway, perfectly healthy little girl. And she's a funny one. She likes her food cold, and I guess it feels good on her teeth, so I put her oatmeal and her fruits and vegetables, whatever she gets, goes in the fridge first to cool off. She doesn't get it warm. It's easier for me that way. I can make up a batch and keep it in the fridge and just pull it out of the fridge and give it to her. She has 2 teeth. She got her bottom 2 teeth at 4.5 months. She might not be in the camera standing up like that. Can you show us your teeth? Show us your teeth? No? 2 teeth, about 4.5 months. Very, very cute. She seemed to be a little fussier than usual for a little while. I think it might have been her teeth, but really not too bad. And she's continued to sleep pretty well, so that's good. She can roll over both ways now. When she started rolling over from her tummy to her back, that's when we started swaddling her with her arms out. Before that, we were swaddling her with her arms in. But then one day after a nap, I found her on her tummy in her crib. She was okay, like she could turn her head, but her arms were stuck in the swaddling, so I started unswaddling her after that. She's always been pretty grabby. Well, not always, but since 2 or 3 months, she started holding on to things, and now she can pass them easily back and forth, and she doesn't always put them in her mouth now. She likes to study them. And on her right hand, she likes to just hold out one finger and study it and point to things and stroke me, which is really sweet. And when I'm nursing her, she'll stroke my face, which is really sweet. And she just likes hands. Like if you show her a hand, it's a hand. It's a hand. Well, okay, she's not doing it now, but she'll usually look really happy and try to grab it and play with it and lick it and stuff. It's really cute. Yeah, so her development's perfectly on track. She can sit up, but not by herself, but she's almost there. She can sit up by herself for like maybe up to a minute on a good day before she flops over. She can't crawl yet, but she's making motions like she wants to crawl, so I think it's coming soon. But yeah, so perfectly healthy, perfectly on track developmentally. She's doing great. And as far as sleeping, she still sleeps mostly through the night. She does wake up somewhere between 2 and 5 o'clock, and I never know exactly when. And I do feed her because I want to keep up my milk supply. But I slept through her wake up a couple nights, and she went back to sleep. So I don't think she actually needs that feed, but I'm going to continue to give it to her because it's not a big deal for me right now, and I know she's okay without it if I do want to stop it. And It helps me keep up my milk supply. So I'm going to keep doing it, and really once a night is not bad for 6 months. She goes to bed at 7 o'clock almost every night, and wakes up somewhere between 6 and 7 in the morning. I always know when she wakes up because I am a light sleeper, but I don't get her out of bed till 7. Okay, honey bun, I'm going to put you in your chair here, okay? We can play with your lamb friend. How's that? Hello, Anna. I am your lamb friend. She's a stuffed lamb that sings Jesus Loves Me when you press its hand, but lately it started singing Jesus Loves Me without being pressed. It just, whenever. It's a little creepy. I think because I watched it a couple times and it's got like a short in the circuit. Anyway, there it goes. But anyway, so, yeah, but I don't get her up till 7, and if she wakes up, if she's still sleeping at 7 o'clock, I'll wake her up at 7. We start our day at 7 o'clock. Yep, nurse her first thing, and then I come downstairs, have breakfast, give her her solids and stuff, and she generally takes a nap about an hour and a half or 2 hours later. Her first nap of the day is 8:30 or 9, and it's her best nap of the day, usually is about 1.5 to 2 hours. Then about 2 hours later, she'll have her second nap of the day, which is usually a pretty good one too. She goes down without much of a fuss for the first 2 naps. And then a couple hours later will be her third nap of the day, which is what we're approaching now at about 3 or 3:30. I usually watch her to see in a half-hour window, 1.5 to 2 hours after her last nap, when she's starting to stare into the distance, and maybe she'll rub her eyes, and then I hurry her off to her crib. The last nap of the day is usually the hardest, and I think it's because of the position of the sun in the window in our room. I've done my best to black it out, but it's still really hard. And so sometimes I put her in the ergo and go on a walk. That's a guaranteed way to get her to nap, but it's hard on my back. Sometimes I lay down in bed with her and just nurse her for the whole nap, but that's also hard on me when I have to cook dinner. Some nights it's easier than others, depending on what I'm making for dinner. Sometimes she just fusses and then falls asleep. So it's different every day. So we'll see what happens today. But generally she's a pretty good napper, and I'm very grateful. I know it could be so much worse, and I know it's going to change too. But I worked hard to get to where we are now. This is a kind of a sweet spot in our routine right now. I worked hard, meaning like I studied her. Around 3.5 months when she started throwing her naps out the window and I was getting so stressed, I said, I'm going to figure this out because I need a schedule, I need organization in my life. It's not for her, it's for me. The sleep is for her. She does need the sleep or she's a total grump, but I need to know when she's going to sleep. Like, I need that. So I have this little notebook. I don't know where it is. Oh, here. My notes for the vlogger on it. I took very detailed notes on her sleeping habits. Every time she fell asleep, I wrote down the time. I wrote down when she woke up. I wrote down how long she fussed before she fell asleep. If she fussed, I wrote down the sleepy signs she was showing before that, so I knew exactly how awake she was between naps. I studied her for a period of about 3 weeks until I figured out her kind of awake windows and learned her sleeping signs. The first sign of her getting ready for a nap is slowing down and kind of getting glazed over and staring, and it's really hard to catch, and sometimes I miss it, and then it'll go into the fussiness, and sometimes I miss that too, and then it'll go into eye rubbing, and I can catch the eye rubbing, but by then it's usually, there's got to be some fussing if she's rubbing her eyes before I put her down. Usually she doesn't rub her eyes until I put her in her crib, and that's perfect. Then she'll just roll over and go to sleep. I also introduced a lovey last month. When she started rolling over both sides and had good head control. It's like one of those angel deer loveys. It's a blanket about this big with 3 knotted corners and then an animal head. She has a monkey and a hippo because I rotate them for washing. And then after one is washed, I'll sleep with it for a couple nights before I replace it, and then I'll wash the other one, sleep with it for a couple nights like that. Because she does chew on them and they get kind of wet. But I did that, so she hopefully will associate sleep with the lovey in her crib, or even if we're on the go, I take it in the ergo sometimes. And she curls up with it on her cheek, I make sure she's not covering her face. But I also played a game with her where I put it on her face when she's happy and awake, and she'll pull it off, put it on her face, pull it off, so I know she can get it off her face. We also have a motion sensor monitor that makes me feel better. It's like the sensor pad under the mattress, so if there's no motion, it'll sound an alarm, like if she stops breathing, and it is very sensitive. It can pick up the pressure from a fan too, so I have to make sure the fans are not situated around it, so it's just picking up on Anna's movement. And so she still sleeps in the room with us, but in her crib, and that's because we share the AC, so she'll sleep with us through the summer. There's no AC in her room, it gets really hot. So we'll probably transition her into her own room. We'll move the crib over there later this year after she's a year old and when it's cooler. and we can get away with just one fan over there. Yeah, and she'll be ready by then too. So that's it. That's basically it for her. Yeah, and so let me show you, we made a couple changes to our house. Well, maybe I'll show you the house changes in another vlog because she's getting kind of fussy right now. So, yeah, we're going to nurse a little bit and then somebody's probably going to have another nap. So why don't we say bye-bye? And her hair's getting longer too. Look, I can put it in a clip. Oh, she's so cute. It's so fun to get her dressed and stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye, Anna. Bye. Oh, you want the camera, huh? Oh, no. Okay, bye.